This study was performed to determine whether exercising on a treadmill or walking outdoors was more beneficial for subjects who previously had a stroke. A secondary aim was to compare the results in relation to length of time exercising and number of exercise occasions between the two. Our research question was used to evaluate spatial and temporal gait characteristics and endurance late after stroke in people who had received two different walking exercises. We hypothesized that treadmill walking would be more beneficial than regular walking to improve the qualities of gait and endurance. We based this hypothesis on the fact that treadmill walking is continuous and triggered from an outside source in contrast to self-paced walking.
The dependent variables in this study include motor function, walking capacity, distance walked, gait velocity, pulse, and continuous variables. The independent variables in this study include neurological impairment, age 50 or above, and unconditional variables. Cofactors in this experiment: barriers to taking part in a physical rehabilitation program, insufficient language, an unstable cardiac status, neurosurgery, and a premorbid history of orthopedic problems or other problems that would prevent a patient from walking. Descriptive and analytical statistics are presented. An independent t-test was used to assess baseline differences. A general linear model for repeated measure was used to evaluate treatment effects with time, using changes in performance as the within subjects factor, the treatment as the between subjects factor, and total time exercising as a covariate. Data are presented as mean and standard deviation. Effect sizes are also given. The analysis were performed on an intention to treat basis. Statistical significance was set at 0.05.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth Turner, and I am presenting Study Design and Subjects. The design of this pilot study is experimental. It is a single-blind, randomized controlled trial and was prospective in nature, involving one group of outdoor walkers and one group of treadmill walkers. The design included a 6-minute walk test, a 10-meter walk test, and measures of pulse rate for active and resting states during these tests. The patient's improvement in distance, length, and width of stride, and gait speed were recorded and compared between the two groups. The sample size is appropriate for a pilot study and consisted of 39 people, of which 5 dropped out. Subjects were recruited from a pool of patients at a private rehabilitation center. The study subjects were all persons over the age of 50 who suffered from a stroke and resulting neurological impairment. Exclusion criteria included, but was not limited to, any premorbid problems that would prevent the patient from walking.
The results. So our p-values showed us the differences with the different walking tests. The 6-minute walking test distance, the p-value was 0.04. Speed, 0.03. The 10-meter walking speed, the p-value was 0.03. And the bilateral stride strength for that was, for the right leg, it was 0.009. The left leg was 0.003. And the varying step width was 0.01. This is all comparing the walking outside versus on the treadmill. So all these numbers pretty much just let us know that it indicated there was a lot more symmetry when people were on a treadmill. There was no significant differences in the groups of cadence. The p-value for that was 0.78. The participants 100% complied with everything that needed to be done, which was really useful in making clear results. And there was, though, overall less time spent on the treadmill than general exercising outside, and the p-value for that was 0.002. The main limitations of the study that I found were that a big cofactor that I thought that they didn't consider is that since they were dealing with stroke patients, that means they were all like around their 70s. They could have varying physical difficulties, whether it was bad joints or arthritis, anything like that, that could really affect their walking ability and therefore altering the results on how exercising helped stroke victims. And also another thing was that the weather conditions were altering the walking ability outside because they always exercised outside no matter what the weather conditions were. So if it was cold, wet, or hot, things like that, that can definitely affect how someone exercises. And also the gender was not evenly distributed. Though it was rather close, there was still more females than there was males, and I think just considering things like how osteoporosis is more common in women when they're older, just things like that is another cofactor that could alter exercise ability. And then also there was more support given during the treadmill exercises versus being outdoors. So more support like by the actual health aides when it came to getting them on the treadmill and helping them use the treadmill properly and just walk in general. They had handlebars and all that kind of stuff. So there was more support on the treadmill than just free walking outside.
In conclusion, after utilizing all of the data, the results indicate that treadmill walking improves spatial and temporal gait characteristics more effectively than walking outdoors.